Um, have you all heard about Chelsea's new project, new process that's about to start?
Oh, phase two.
Another phase two.
Phase two at Chelsea.
Phase two.
They have poached. They've been out poaching. They've gone poaching and taken Sam Jewell from Brighton, who is their head of recruitment, another employee from Brighton, to go to Chelsea to try and fix their recruitment situation. LB, like we know they need to sign players, but they've gone to Brighton again. They've taken managers. They've taken like Winstanley and a lot of backroom staff. Do you think this is a sensible move by Chelsea to go back to the same hunting ground that so far has not fared too well at Stamford Bridge?
I mean, the good news is that they're changing sort of course with personnel and strategy, right? Whatever, because they had to change, because what they did in these last 18 months has been an absolute disgrace. Yeah, they've ripped that club apart. I maintain my stance. I think these new owners who come into Chelsea had the easiest job in world football. They had a team that had just won the UCL, the Champions League. Yeah, they didn't have the best team in the world, but they had a pretty okay 11. And all they needed to do was invest. They had £1 billion to invest, and they should have made that team winning there and then. And they completely went down the wrong path. And it's right that they've changed strategy and changed course. Is it right that they're getting, because it's from Brighton, isn't it? This guy that they're getting him.
Yes, it's from Brighton. Yes.
Listen, with all due respect, managing Brighton to managing a team that wants to be winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, in my opinion, is different. It'll be interesting to see how he does there. But I just think if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd just be happy that at least they've changed course and they're not continuing down the same road, which obviously just isn't working because they're still, I think, mid-table, still 10th. So we'll have to see, man. But listen, I mean, how much more money these guys want to spend?
Well, the talk is, Dan, is that they're going to spend another 200+ million this summer. Ben Jacobs has said that they're not as close to FFP as other reports have suggested. They're bringing in this guy who, got a good track record at Brighton, and it does look like they're going to try and change. And I agree with LB. I think they are going to try and change direction. I think most Chelsea fans are praying they raise the age limit of players to above 21 and sign some older people. Do you think it's a positive move for Chelsea that they're making these more seismic changes at board and management level?
If I'm honest with you, I don't think we know anything about what they're going to be looking at with this new guy coming in. But their owner is a nutter, right? He is an absolute nutcase. And until he starts, I mean, he's fair enough throwing this money around. But if you don't really have a plan of what you're going to spend it on and how you're going to spend it, you're just going to go, right, are you under the age of 23 and do you look like you might be half decent? You can come in. For me, I don't really care who comes in at Chelsea. If I'm a Chelsea fan right now, I'm thinking, right, go and get players that are ready to win right now. Not in 6 years, not when they're 28 and they're only 21 now. Go and get me players that can win now. Because when I look at it and they go and get a Victor Osimhen, if they went and go and got a Pedro Neto, if they went and go and get Michael Maignan in goal, if they went to go and get a centre-half that is actually as good as Thiago Silva but not 40, I might look at them and go, do you know what? They've added a spine around some good young players. And first 11-wise, they've got sort of 14, 15 players now, Chelsea, that you think, yeah, actually, fair play. They've got a spine that you're used to. And I'm used to seeing Chelsea over the last 2 decades with players at the top quality, and it's just unrecognisable for me. And I can't believe, and I've said it on here before, that Chelsea fans seem as a whole, they're all right. And I think, why? For me, surely they'd be kicking off, most of them. Now, there is a section that are. You've got certain people that I won't say their names, but certain people on social media, they're proper kicking off. And people that I speak to, like Goonie, and some of the others are like, I'm just done. Like, what is going on with this? But if this new guy comes in and starts to identify players that are ready now that can add to some of the younger quality, then you might start to see a Chelsea that's going to go forward. But if they're actually going to rely on players like Madueke and Chukwuemeka and Maragusto and, players that you believe should be the ones that are not, you're looking at going, they're the stars, then fair play. Chelsea might actually do something. If you're actually looking at them saying that they're the ones that got to carry them over the line, Chelsea ain't going to do much more than they've done this season, in my opinion. I still have question marks over Pochettino as well, and I think his position will definitely be looked at in the summer. But yeah, if they're going to go spend 200 million, it needs to be on the likes of Osimhen, Maignan, players like that.
You're getting 2 players, isn't it?
Say again, mate.
You're getting 2 players. 200
well,
million.
Well, you are if you're spending 200 million, yeah. If you've only got 200 million,
You're looking at Osherman. What, you're not getting him for anything less than 120, are you? Minimum. So that's 120.
Yeah, 112.
So then how much is that Manyan going to cost?
I've no
What's
idea.
the going rate for a decent goalkeeper now? United paid 40 for Onana. So let's say you get him for 50. Yeah, you're pretty much
That's the problem. They've wasted money already, mate. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is why the owners, mate. I completely agree. I think the guy's a fool. I genuinely believe I would have done a better job than him. I'm not even joking, man. I'm actually not joking, bro. If you would have given me £1 billion, yeah, I genuinely believe that I would have had Chelsea with better players, and therefore they would have been high up the table.
I'll second that, and
I genuinely do.
Yeah, same.
Because I don't think he had a difficult job. All these people said, "Oh, he had a tough job, didn't he?" It was a rough 18 months, with Roman getting sanctioned and that they weren't allowed to spend money or whatever and all this. And bro, what are you talking about, man? You just won a Champions League. You got £1 billion in your back pocket. You try to tell me you had a hard job. What are these people waffling about, man? He just needed to come in there and just freshen it up a little bit. Buy a couple stars, bomber, away we go. Yeah, now manager Tuchel, do whatever. You want to keep Tuchel, be that. Yeah, at the end of the day, don't really matter. Again, people get married to these managers in a weird way. Keep Tuchel. If it didn't work, get rid of him. If he does work, great. But it's just ridiculous, mate. And this Pochettino again, people, it's just ridiculous how people just like back managers for process's sake. Oh, we've got to keep him for at least 2 to 3 years so we can build the full squad and see how he gets on. And then what if it doesn't work? You're just going to get rid of him. How long do managers get these days? And of course, United are going to have this question with Ten Hag. Arsenal have had it for the last 4 or 5 years with Arteta. But it's just ridiculous, man. And like Dan said, I listen. There is a lot of Chelsea fans out there that are not happy with what's going on. I was seeing it on Twitter. I've seen a couple of people in the chat there moaning about it as well. But I just can't believe a team that won the Champions League. What was it, 2020?
Yeah,
and now 10th in the Premier League.
The problem that Chelsea fans have, not the problem they have as such, but it's just going to take time to undo this situation. So they're going to have to, and they may even have to sell a couple of these young stars that they're excited about. That may end up being what they have to do to raise funds. So let's say there is 200 million available. You're going to start going after 27, 28, 29-year-olds, which I think they need. You're right. They've got 2, maybe 3 players in that. So maybe you've got, we know they're looking to get rid of a few of their academy players. Then it's maybe you look at the 3 midfielders they spent all that money on in Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo. Do they look at one of them and say, what could we raise now while their stock is still high? Is there a young centre-back we've purchased that we can move on? Gusto's doing well. Could they look at someone like Reece James being let go, even though he's got some injury problems because the stock is still high to raise funds? Or it's going to take, it might only be 2 signings, 3 signings, and then you're going to wait till the next summer, another couple of signings, and therefore it's going to take longer to fix. So, and look, there are gems out there as well. There are players you can find out there that are not 80, 100 million pounds that can come in and can improve you. Look at Liverpool with Endo. I know when he first came in, people were like, oh, God, he looks awful. He's starting to really look a Premier League player, and he was cheap. He was cheap in, metrics from 15, 20 years ago. He's exceedingly cheap now. So there is some good scouting that can be done, but I think they're going to have to sell some of these young players they've purchased, recoup some of that money. And the talk is of the billion or so they spent, 200 to 300 million of that was spent on players that they never really thought they'd play. The idea was to sell them on at a profit. And I think they're going to have to maybe enact on that a little bit sooner because it looks that way. But look, I do think it's a positive that they've made sort of a move in the next in a different direction recruitment wise. But it's such an interesting team, Chelsea, because you watch them play against City and they grab a point. It's only a week or so earlier they're getting beat by Wolves. I really don't know how to even assess them. It feels like game by game to me. Like you go 3 or 4 games, they look better. And then you go through the next 2 or 3 games and you think to yourself, what is going on? But I suppose that's just by definition. When you've got a team full of kids, how are you going to create consistency? I just think it's impossible this season for them to do it. I don't think they'll finish much higher, but they've got a massive opportunity this weekend with Liverpool. Just read this news here. Yeah. Trent, Szoboszlai, Alisson and Jones are all out. Jota's been ruled out for months now. They said it's going to be 2 to 3 months that Jota's out for. Still no official updates on Mo Salah and Nunez. I mean, Chelsea, even with all their problems, Chelsea must be looking at this weekend, gents, and thinking to themselves, with all those players out, based on how good both teams currently are, this is their best chance. I mean, what a chance of a trophy with all those players out.
Bro, if they win this cup, yeah, it's just like, And by the way, yeah, this proves why people and clubs should take competitions seriously, right? Because any other team, if they took the competition seriously, could have got to the final and people go, oh, yeah, but you get Liverpool in the final, you're never going to win it. You get a stroke of luck. Bad luck for Liverpool with all the injuries. Positive for Chelsea. Chelsea could win this game now on Sunday. Chelsea could win this game all of a sudden. Now, if we were speaking like 2 months ago when obviously Liverpool had a fully fit squad, probably no one gives Chelsea any hope in hell to get a result this weekend. Chelsea have got a good chance of winning the cup. And if they do win it, yeah, then all the other managers in this league that didn't take this competition seriously, who was it? Postecoglou, when he went to Fulham early doors and just played like a B team and got knocked out. All these managers who don't take the competition seriously can have a look at Chelsea potentially winning this cup on Sunday, say we should probably take this seriously. But they won't take it seriously because teams are not interested in trophies that much. Obviously, you only get 100 grand for winning this competition. You know what I mean? So we all know where the owners want the focus. They want to focus on the Premier League. But if Chelsea win, yeah, this trophy can lift some silverware. The way that they've been playing this year, that is crazy, and they have a legit chance to win it. Of course they do, because Liverpool have just got a mad, unlucky run of injuries, man. I can't believe I watched the game, did a watch along for it, and I just couldn't believe what was happening in front of me. I thought because it was a joke, you know what I mean? Every player was going down. I don't know what was happening. You know, they've only got a couple of players injured. I don't know whether they need to look at the physios or whatever at Liverpool, but yeah, if Chelsea win the cup after their start this year, that'd just be wild, man. It'd just be wild.
Yeah, it would be. Dan, do you think it would be good or bad for them? And I say that because could it paper over cracks, or do you think it will strengthen and solidify everything and make them a better team?
I think it would be good for their season because they've won a trophy, but I think it would be bad for them to then look at that and go, right, so Poch is staying because he's won something. The team obviously isn't that bad because it's just beaten Liverpool and won silverware, and maybe things aren't so bad. And that would be very foolish if that is the case, because there are some serious problems at Chelsea Football Club as a whole. And I do think from top to bottom, it needs to be looked at. I would not want to be a Chelsea fan at the moment and look at the direction they're going. And people will say, really? Like, they're Chelsea, they're huge, look at what they've won. Yeah, in the Roman Abramovich era, they did. But for me, I'd be very, very foolish to put my house on Chelsea winning consistent trophies in the next 5 to 10 years, because I have no idea what I'm going to get from Chelsea. No idea. And, you know, and I'll go back to it. If you don't put in a few experienced heads in there that can actually try to help some of these young lads out, then I don't know that they are going to move somewhere. Now, they have got some experienced heads. You know, Raheem Sterling's an extremely experienced player, you know. Thiago Silva is extremely experienced, but you need some more, man. And I don't know. I look at it. I still think Liverpool beat them in the final. I do. I still think Liverpool win. But if I'm wrong, fair play. I don't really care, to be honest. Chelsea are just a mess. And if they win a trophy, the probably fan base will say that they'll have a better season than Arsenal. If we don't, let them. Let's go. I'd rather be where Arsenal are at right now than Chelsea, if I'm honest.
Some will say that it's all about trophies.
Yeah, they will. It's all about trophies, mate. Listen, it is about trophies. The game's about winning, for sure. But you need to actually look like you're going to be consistently winning trophies, not just get one every blue moon. And I think that, you know, Chelsea right now, I don't think they look like a team that are going to be consistently winning trophies for the next 10 years, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, but they could also use this as sort of like a moment to change their course. I mean, this is a big week for them. You know, we just spent 10, 15 minutes speaking about this new guy coming in, the new strategy. That's a positive, 100%. If they win the cup this weekend, I think as a Chelsea fan, you can be optimistic. I still think that you're going to struggle a little bit in the Premier League season. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But if they get the signings right in the summer and they win the cup, you know, I think that they could look forward to next year being a lot better than they are this year. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, yeah, silverware is what it's about. That's what's in the record books. That's what is in the history books. We'll never forget silverware. And if they win it, even though it's like the worst trophy you can win, it's still silverware. And to win it against Liverpool, even with their injuries, is big. And the fact that they'll probably be laughing because, again, that sort of ruins Klopp's last season a little bit, doesn't it? Because obviously he wants to clean up. He wants to win it all in his last season, obviously. And if you can put a stop to that by winning in a final, they're probably going to get a little bit of buzz off that as well. It's a big game.
Yeah, do you know, I look at it, boys, through this. It's all about. I remember Arsenal when you won your FA Cups in the back end of Wenger's years, and I thought that papered over cracks. As good as it was to win, as much as part of your history, I felt it prolonged the Wenger situation, and
Yeah,
2
absolutely.
or 3 years that got prolonged. It's why you are where you look, if you'd have started the process you're on now earlier, you might have been back to challenging for Prems, maybe even having won one by now. So that's the one where you can throw an argument in that sometimes winning a trophy is not always the best thing for you but normally hindsight comes into that. But with the one thing I would say, I agree that their owner's a madman. I agree they've made mistakes. And I agree Chelsea are in a really bad situation, but it's rectifiable. They can fix themselves from where they are. And if you're winning trophies along the way, whilst you're still as bad as they've been, that's not a bad thing. That really isn't a bad thing. But I still don't think they should look at the potential of not sacking Poch at the end of the season, whether he wins it or not. Because I think Man United are going through that. What if you guys win the FA Cup and make top 4? I still think we have to look seriously at Ten Hag, because I agree with an element of your point, Dan. You have to look at the trajectory you're going in terms of the league, because how good you are in your league is the ultimate barometer for how good you are. We've seen teams like Wigan win FA Cups and get relegated. Winning the FA Cup doesn't make you a good team. I think when you spend like Chelsea, you spend like Man United, Arsenal, City, etc., where you are in the league should be the ultimate barometer. How competitive you are in the Champions League needs to be a barometer. The other trophies, of course, are important. That is what you're there to do. But I don't think that should be the be-all and end-all for a manager keeping their job, or fans saying, there's nothing to see here. No progression is needed. We're in a really good place because we've won a trophy. I think fans need to be balanced with it. Equally, though, if they win, celebrate. Hit the thumbs down, guys. Never believe a United fan with a Cockney accent. Let me tell you this now, Ali Garcia.
Oh dear.
Most of the people that watch the Football Terrace from all different parts of the country and the world and don't have the same accent as their football club is from. So you're going to get cooked for that, my friend.